This episode is sponsored by JDAQA Software Testing, your scalable solution for manual, automated, security, and performance testing. Check us out at jdaqa.com. And with that, let's get on with the show.
This is The First Customer, hosted by Jay Agner.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the First Customer Podcast. My name is Jay Agner. Today, I am lucky enough to be joined by Bobby Varma. She is the CEO and founder of Princeton Identity. We met at the PACT conference last week. Maybe one of the first guests that I've had on the show after meeting him at a conference. Usually I get people online or LinkedIn. So Bobby, it's great to put a face with the name or a name with the face first and then have you on the show. I saw you up on stage pitching Princeton Identity. Thanks for being on.
No, thank you, Jay, for giving me the opportunity to be here with you, and very excited to be here and talk a bit about my journey. So thank you for having me.
Yes. I think we should start by just where did you come from? Where'd you grow up? And did that have any impact on you being an entrepreneur later in life?
I would say yes. So my father, so I grew up until the age of, I would say 3. I was born in India, was there until the age of 3. And then my father loved to travel, Jay. So he pretty much traveled all my life. I traveled all my life. He took us from one country to another. We went to, I would say, 6 or 7 countries
Hmm.
from ages 3 to ages 12. And then ended up being in United States at age 12, and I've been here since then. So, my adult life, I've grown up here, but it did have an impact because again, you kind of are thrown in a different country, speaking a different language, have to deal with how to survive and just take advantage of your surroundings and be somewhat of an entrepreneur in that case, right? Be able to resolve issues, not learning the language. So, yeah, and become and acclimated to your surrounding. And that's a big part of being an entrepreneur.
I've never heard those two things directly connected, but I think it's a great point. It's an interesting point. Was your dad an entrepreneur or did he just travel for work? Like, how did you get to travel to all these different places?
So first, when he was in India, he started his own company. So he loved having his own company. And then he started working for United Nations. So he
Hmm.
loved to kind of be creative. And his background was being an
Hmm.
architect, and as well as civil engineer. So he loved building buildings, right? And bridges and so forth. So his creative side came. But he just loved to travel. He loved to kind of experience. And if he could he would have opened his own company in every country, but that didn't happen. So, but I think he definitely did have the entrepreneurial spirit and the creativity, but he also loved to travel, and his travel overtook rest of his other life.
I love to travel too. You just saying the word travel and hearing that just makes me want to go somewhere new and different and exciting. So, where did you go after that? I mean, you were 12, you moved to Princeton. Was it Princeton you moved to? Is that where you came to originally or?
No, actually, we moved to Cherry Hill East, which
Okay.
is like literally in New Jersey. So it
Yeah,
is in
yeah.
New Jersey, so to speak,
Right.
right? But yeah, more South Jersey. That's where I grew up, went to high school there. So yeah, that's where I grew up and even went to college in Philadelphia, New Jersey area.
Okay. So, where did you go after college? What's kind of the in between that and Princeton Identity?
So I went to undergrad. I ended up going to Rutgers coming from an immigrant family, right? You want to not spend enormous amount of money going to different colleges, but all about, hey, getting the best of best of good education and still being able to do it relatively inexpensively, right? So,
Right.
and Rutgers obviously has a great reputation. So I ended up going there, and I was the first daughter to go to college. So wanted to stay close to home. And that was my big thing for my father, right? I was the oldest in my family, and he's like, "Well, you can't go too far." So, which was good. And then I ended up for going for my grad school, I ended up going to Drexel. I did my
Hmm.
master's in biomedical engineering, and that my love for sciences started from there. And then ended up going to working for a company called SRI International.
Hmm. And what did you do there?
So I started there as a research scientist. Never
Hmm.
thought of that. Worked in a lab. Can you believe that?
Wow, that's cool.
I again, by nature, I'm an introvert, but it was something that I thought would be my passion for the rest of my life, which is being creative, inventing things. I always loved to dabble, and so science was my love, has been my love, and continues to be my love. And so I ended up doing working in the lab there, then ended up really focusing on rising to the leadership. And at that point, I had a current boss who wanted to put me in front of customers and said, I think you would do great as a program manager, project manager. And Jay, I must have resisted him for 2 to 3 years. And eventually he gave me an ultimatum. He said, either you do it or, I'm going to put somebody else there and they're going to be your boss. So he really did draw a line in the sand. And I ended up becoming a project manager, small project manager. And I did so well that they ended up giving me largest programs that were at SRI, and I ended up doing very well with those programs. And then they kind of told me to kind of start working in front of customers because as a project manager, I had to present.
Mhm.
Um, and then pulling me to the dark side to business development.
Biz dev, the ultimate nothing burger of
Yeah.
business. It's like it means everything but nothing. I'm gonna give you an introvert to introvert compliment. You don't seem like an introvert. That's probably the biggest compliment I think, at least me as an introvert, I receive from people who's like, "You're not an introvert." I'm like, "I totally am. Trust me. I don't want to be here. I don't want to talk to anybody. I just want to sit, by myself and hang out." So you don't seem like it. You don't. You've. That's it. You're a recovering introvert. How about that?
Ah,
You've
yeah,
done a
maybe
great
that's
job over the years probably honing that skill. So tell me about Princeton Identity. Where did that come from? I mean, this is a very interesting journey through kind of like science and other things. And now, and I guess tell us what Princeton Identity does and what it is. I mean, I know what it is. I saw your pitch on stage, but tell everybody what it is first.
well. So Princeton Identity, we are identity management solution provider using Iris on the Move biometric technology, right? And that's what we are a company where you have ability to create security around identity management without sacrificing convenience. So that's what I say as a minute elevator pitch. How did it come about? And I will go a bit about Princeton Identity later, but let me tell you. So we came out of a company called SRI International. That's where I started I was there for literally, and I don't want to predate myself, but I would say I was there for like literally 19 years.
Hmm.
Yesterday, I started there when I was 15 years old. Okay.
15. Wow. Yeah, that's a long career. That's a long career.
Right. Um, so, was there and I was part of, I would say, so SRI is a very interesting company to work for. It's like a playground of innovation. You can literally, it's like having multiple companies in one single place and developing cutting edge, bleeding edge technologies. And if you have a great idea, you can pitch it to anyone. And as long as you get money, you can start that idea and build a silo of a company within that organization. So when I was there, we pitched a number of ideas and I was part of, I would say, 4 different startups as a co-founder for 4 different startups, loved the technology, never really thought about actually starting a company and going with the company, right? So what ended up happening at SRI was it was a great company where in the sense of you started an idea, if it had good market product fit, what you could do was go get funding from outside and then spin that company out of that place. And, I mean, if you do well, it can go public or you could
Hmm.
get acquired. And that happened to a number of companies, as a matter of fact. So, for example, Nuance was there, Siri was there, Mouse, HD TV, all those technologies were developed there. And few of the companies actually did very well, either by acquisition or going IPO. So I never went with those companies because, again, it was something that I loved. The technology, I always thought, well, I can stay here and play with different technologies and continue to evolve my ideas. And then, but with Princeton Identity, this was my passion because I ended up working on Iris on the Move technology right from the beginning. I worked with some really great scientists at SRI. And when the opportunity came, when we actually had Samsung come to us and said, hey, we love this technology. We would love to put this technology on our phones. And at that time, we decided to spin the company out as well. So the company was spun out and they always ask the founders, were the founders of the technology, they wanted to go with the company and build a company.
Mhm.
And I did raise my hand at that point, Jay, because this was something that I knew when you have that feeling as an entrepreneur in your stomach that this could really take off, this is
Right.
has such a great potential, not sure, but it could really help so many people. That's the type of feeling I had in my stomach. And I said, this is something that's going to do so well. So ended up going with the company and starting this company called Princeton Identity. We ended up doing that in 2016 with a couple of other co-founders. Since then, they left, and I'm the only one who's still remaining here. And we have really done well since the beginning of the company.
What is Iris on the Move specifically?
So Iris in the Move technology is so right now, if you I'm sure you're well aware of biometric technology out there, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Majority of the people are very focused on, hey, facial recognition. I'm
right.
sure you right?
Yeah.
Well, facial recognition is like I go up and get authenticated using my face. Iris recognition is more about so you think about there are multiple ways that you can get recognized, right? And face is one of them, but there are fingerprint, right? Because
Yeah.
olden times fingerprint always had the negative connotation. Hey, I'm going to go to the law enforcement. They're going to get my fingerprints, and I'm going to be I'm going to be recognized. Iris is similar that way, which is using your iris, two of your irises, and each iris is very unique to you. So
Hmm.
the probability of somebody getting authenticated or recognized as you, Jay, is with one iris because it's so unique to you. It's one out of 1.4 billion people. So it is extremely accurate to you
Mhm.
and nobody else can have a similar iris as you. Whereas face and fingerprint, the probability of somebody getting authenticated as you is, I mean, a lot less, I would say, right?
Hmm.
One out of 200, one out of a couple thousand, right? With some of the things that with fingerprint devices. But again, with iris, it's one out of 1.4 billion. It's so unique.
Hmm. And you do 2 irises, right? You said? So, like, is that even more you
Yes, it
Okay.
is even more unique, more so you take 1 times 10 to the 4th, the
Mhm.
8th, right? You basically. So, I can't even count it, like 1 times 10 to the 8th is like, over trillion people that might be authenticated as you.
Hmm.
So, it is so unique to you. So, our technology, which is Iris on the Move technology, is all about, one of the things that is very there's a hardship when it comes to iris technology. In the past, it's all about you had to get very close in order to kind of
Mhm.
get authenticated with your iris, had to get very close with the devices itself to get authenticated. So we have created technology where you don't have to get close at all, Jay. You can walk normally through your life and it will authenticate you while you're
Hmm.
walking.
Really?
Don't have to stop,
Wow. Yeah, 'cause, you think about the old spy movies and stuff, they'd have to look at the thing and then it
right?
would scan their eyeball. So you're wow, that's pretty I mean, that seems like the game changer. I was gonna ask you, like, what is the difference? Now, is it a competitive industry? Are there a lot of other iris biometric authentication companies that you're out there competing with?
Actually, no. I mean, I would say majority since COVID, we have seen more facial recognition companies emerge because of ease of use. People are more concerned about convenience. But Iris, no. So there are, I would say, maybe 2 to 3 companies in the world who compete with us, right?
Hmm.
Maybe 2 companies out there. When I say the ability to do Iris technology, but truly true authentication around Iris technology. And we are the only one, Jay, the only one who have Iris on the Move technology. We actually have patents around that. So, over 37 patents, and we're the only one who can actually do this technology.
Are you allowed to tell me how you do that technology? I'm curious. Is it like, are you zooming in on the eyeball from wherever they're at, or is it like something that's proprietary that's like that's part of your platform?
Yeah, I would say the latter. It's a part of our
All right,
platform.
all right. You're not gonna give me the secret sauce.
No,
I was gonna
I
say
wish
you're
I
gonna have a
would.
fourth now, and it's me. I'm gonna go make my own
You
eyeball
make your own.
scanner from the information that
In
I
case
got
I'll
from
hire
this
you,
box.
Jay.
Yeah, there you go. All right, I can do your QA for you. So I love that. So who was your first customer? Who did you get, and how did you get them?
Well, so I would say, while first customer we actually had was government customer, and to be honest with you. So they there's I think of 2 sets of customers, government customers and then we have commercial customers, right?
Yeah.
For our first customer who actually implemented this technology was our government customer. It was actually Navy who took our technology, and I actually still am friends with the person who I ended up selling this technology to and proposing this, and he was such a big believer. And it was funny because I was at a trade show and met him at a trade show. We ended up talking, and we actually at that point just had a prototype that we were showcasing and weren't sure how we were going to work with that. And I remember him coming up to me at the trade show and saying, "What is this?" And he was a scientist by nature. So as a scientist to a scientist, we ended up talking for hours, but ended up really liking the technology and said, "How can we build this use case that we could take it to, his, well, Navy, Navier, and seeing if we could actually implement it in the real world application."
Mhm.
And we ended up doing that together we started with prototype and then kind of understood the requirements and then built the technology around, what he was thinking and what we were together thinking, came up with a platform. It took us almost 2 years to kind of get it out there. But after 2 years, we had it and it was one of the best technologies. I mean, we went through shootout with other big competitors out there and hands down, every time we won the project because it was just such a great technology and robust and so accurate that, we ended up winning the customer and he ended up giving us quite a bit of money to build it.
You said something interesting there. You said he really liked the technology, which is why they moved forward. I think you're not giving yourself enough credit there because he really liked you, right? Because I think any good business owner knows that like people buy from people they like. Like if they don't like you, even in a B2B, government to whatever situation, like you guys had a connection, which probably helped, establish a business relationship, right? I mean, how important has that continued to be for you as a business owner to make those connections with potential clients and to, kind of be a likable person that people want to do business with? How do you promote that image? Not that it's an image, I mean it's you, but how do you keep that at the forefront?
I think you kinda hit the nail on the head when it comes to that kinda it is true. Relationships are the ones that sell, right? If somebody likes you, they trust you, right? They tend to wanna work with you.
Hmm.
And I think having that trust where you are conveying to them you are doing this for their betterment versus for your sake. I think that has to come across, right? And that was really important. That has always been very important to me, right? It's not about me or the company or the technology. It's all about providing value to the end customer. Because again, you don't want somebody to buy your solution and have it and then sit on the shelf, right? Because it's not useful to them.
Right.
You wanna build something, a relationship and a solution and a technology, they can use it, not for a short period of time, year after year, and it has a longevity with them, right? And that's something that I have always promoted, which is not just about the technology itself, but also the value it provides to them. And as Princeton Identity, how can we continue to provide the value for our customers? So that way, then we have great retention, great relationship, and we become their technology arm for future implementations as well.
No, I love that. How is that how has your customer definition changed from back when you were at that booth trying to figure out what it is you guys are even making to today? Like what is the customer persona that you guys are going after today and how are you going after them?
So, it has changed quite a bit. I mean, again, in that case, we actually, we were in the process of building a solution. We were trying to understand what the customer wanted. And I think foundation is still the same, but how we go around and get our customers is different. It's all about, for us now, we have a very robust technology that we have built, right? In the first case, we were trying to build a robust technology and getting out there. So, now we have built that foundation. We have built a robust technology. We tend to kind of now find customers who have that specific need. So build up. Now we understand the need. So we tend to go after customers who are very security conscious, right? I think, especially in biometrics, right? Facial recognition, or I would say majority of the modalities are very focused on convenience aspect of it. And I think they lose the sight of security. And that
Mhm.
is still very pivotal to us and as a company and to our customers, right? So what? It's great to use, but then if you lose the concept of security, you just defeated this technology, and now you stopped creating that value. You may be easy to get in, but then anybody can get in, right?
Right.
So again, for us, it's been always, and that's something Jay I've never sacrificed. I always tell to our customers, and we've gone to customers where we have said, "No, this is not a useful technology. Let me give you a competitor's technology because I think it will be more useful to you if you're not thinking about security, right? If you're thinking about just user interface, I mean, ease of use." So I always want to do what's best for the customers, and always focused on that than worrying about what can we do, what can we make as a company, right?
Right. How are you going after those customers today? Or do you guys, I mean, obviously you're at conferences and doing, the kind of business, the biz dev stuff that is not a real thing, but do you guys have a sales team? Do you do email marketing? Do you do social stuff? Like, how are you guys bringing in your big ticket customers today?
I would say since COVID, things have changed drastically, right? Business development is not what it used to be, where, trade shows are one way. We definitely, I think for our technology, seeing is believing it.
Yeah.
A lot of times when we go out there, we talk about our technology. And to your point, right? People are like, wow, that sounds very futuristic. How do you guys do that? And I think for us, it's always about come and see us, right? And see how it well, it works, and I would say 99% of our people who see our technology, they always say, "Wow, that's really cool," or, "Wow, that's really fast, and can't believe you guys do that." So, that's always good to know, right? So, trade shows are one way. We do quite a bit of work. The way we have kinda changed it, we do a lot of social outbound
Mhm.
marketing, right? LinkedIn is a great way. Podcast is another great way for us to get out there and talk about our technology. The other way is we work closely with a lot of our partners as well. So what we do is we partner up with not normal like your security integrators. In some cases we do, but majority of the partners we go after are that they have never thought about this type of technology that can get them in this arena. So,
Hmm.
for example, IT companies, right, who are starting to look at, hey, we do a lot of IT, but we don't think of, which is cybersecurity, but we don't think of physical security. So we want to go after, holistic security. We cover cybersecurity, you guys cover physical security. Now we can bring a solution that's more holistic and now get to our customers. So we reach some of the customers who, you normally wouldn't think about, right?
Right.
And suddenly, so we have different sales channels around that. So we kind of try to find more creative ways to go after customer base, different customer base. We look at more instead of going after large enterprise level customers, and we have those as well. We tend to go after mid to small, start with the footprint of that. We do a lot of proof of concepts. That's another way, right? Because and we know like if they see our technology, they use it. And
Right.
I'll tell you, Jay, that's been a great thing because if they use it, they tend to want to use it
Right.
more and more and more.
Right. No, that makes a lot of sense. So if you could do anything in the world, non-business related, and you knew you couldn't fail, what would it be?
Oh, non-business related, then I knew I could not fail.
Like, if I left it business related, you would probably say what everybody likes to say and say, I would have the best biometric,
Right now in technology in the
in
world.
the world, but we're not, I'm more curious about Bobby as a person. What is, what's on your list?
I would say, if I could, I am a fitness fanatic. I would say, I am very disciplined. That's one of the things that I would say about me. I love to work out. And that's one of the things that you talk about any sport, I will play it, right? I'm a big proponent of that. And even till this day, I'll get up in the morning, 5:30 every day and work out. And the other thing is when I say fitness fanatic, it's physical and then eating healthy, right? That's
Mhm.
another big thing for me, right? So and Jay, I'm an avid reader, so anything regarding, you know, fitness or food related, I'm on it. I
All
know it.
right. All right. All right. You would be a fitness fanatic full time, I
Yeah,
guess. Is it? That's where you,
I would if I
I
could.
love it. I agree. I think it's a great, and it all kind of cycles back to the mind anyway, right? Like the more healthy you are in general, the sharper and clearer you are and the more stuff you can do. So as a father of five who's learned how to not sleep lots of times in my life, I agree that, just physical health just makes life so much better. All right. If people want to find you, Bobby, to ask more questions or learn more things from you, how do they do that?
Okay, well, then you go on our website. First of all, it's www.princetonidentity.com. That's a way to do it. I'm always posting on LinkedIn, so you can always find me on LinkedIn under, Bobby Varma. And, and call us anytime you want to see our demo, call us. And believe me, there are a number of times I'll tell you, Jay, I pick up the customer calls and I respond to them as well.
Beautiful. Well, if you want to talk to Bobby on the phone, give her a call. And Bobby, you were great. I really appreciate your time. I wish you the best of luck. I'm sure I'll see you around town, maybe in the beautiful Princeton area or back in Philly at some point. But thank you for being on today. Thank you for your time and have a great rest of your week. All right.
Thank you, Jay. I really appreciate it. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay, bye.